The Palolo Chinese Home is pleased to honor an exemplary person such as Danny B.T. Lau at this gala celebration of caring for the generations. Danny Lau is a devoted family man, a successful businessman, an extraordinary athlete, and a generous philanthropist. Certainly, Danny Lau is a man on the move.
My father, Daniel B.T. Lau, was born in 1919. He was born here in Honolulu, the oldest of a family of 8. My grandfather, his father, ran a Chinese grocery store in Liliha Street. The kids grew up in the back of the store. They worked in the store. For grade school, he went to first at Lanakila Elementary and then switched over to Maimai. And from Maimai, he went over to Central Intermediate. And all this time, he would go to Chinese language classes after school to make sure that he could speak Cantonese. I think he learned Mandarin on his own afterwards. He then went over to McKinley High School, and I believe he graduated in 1937. Then he went on to the University of Hawaii, and from the University of Hawaii, he majored in business. And University of Hawaii was the first time he got to really fool around. He didn't have to go to Chinese language classes after school. He didn't have to work in the store at that point because he was now a big college kid. And he found that all this free time that he had, he got to spend playing sports. And he learned the true love of playing baseball.
Danny was an outstanding baseball player, an athlete actually, at the University of Hawaii.
He became one of the batting champs over at the University of Hawaii. He also had the opportunity to run track, and he was one of the great track stars at the University of Hawaii. Upon graduation in June of 1941, he was immediately drafted or inducted into the United States Army. They sent him to the University of Pittsburgh to go to flight training school. This is where he actually met my mother. The joke that he likes to tell is that he went out and talked to his buddies, and he was looking for the prettiest Chinese girl in town, and found my mother, who was the only Chinese girl in town. As they were getting ready for D-Day, they realized that they needed replacement soldiers, and so they took him out of flight training school.
Danny was wounded in the Battle of the Bulge.
He was in a foxhole, and his gun was on a parapet that he had put, and a German artillery shell came in, blew his gun up, and basically knocked him unconscious for a short while. He and his buddies decided to run into a farmhouse, and another German shell came in, blew the building up. The guys that he was with were all killed, and he was seriously wounded, and he was stuck in the farmhouse under some timbers. He has tremendous shrapnel wounds in his back and his arms and his legs. He received a Purple Heart with oak leaf clusters, which means multiple wounds. He calls it a $1 million wound, and the reason why he calls it a $1 million wound is during the war, if you got wounded seriously enough, you didn't have to go back, and you were still alive and you got to go home. After my dad rehabilitated and the Army finally released him, he wanted to go back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to go and see if my mother was still interested.
Back in 1952, when Danny and his friends formed Finance Factors, that was pretty amazing, because if you think about it, that was 13 years before the Civil Rights Act. And so there were a lot of ethnic minorities, like the Chinese, who couldn't get access to financing at the time. I mean, they made loans for things like furniture or even pots and pans. They're still reaching out to those people who have difficulty in getting financing because they're willing to take the time to actually underwrite each particular loan, listen to that person's particular circumstances, and try to help them figure out how they can afford their dreams.
My dad has always been a supporter of the community. Probably his biggest charity that he's supported is the United Church of Christ over on Judd Street. He and his family helped to donate the front koa wood doors for the sanctuary. The big stained glass window behind the altar was one of his donations. He really loves the University of Hawaii, and he is set up several scholarships, primarily for the UH baseball team. Colton Wong was one of his scholarship beneficiaries, and so he takes great pride in knowing that he helped Colton get through school.
Every year, Danny is the leader in going to Las Vegas to play in tournaments, and he paid the way of the various players who couldn't pay.
I asked him how old he is. He says about over 90. He still plays softball. That's unbelievable.
He likes the challenge. He likes the competition. He likes the excitement.
He still bats and runs the bases, and amazing.
You know, as a leader of the Chinese community, I work with you with the Chinese Chamber and many different organizations. You have been so generous. I still remember several years ago when I asked you to make a donation and to be a board of governors of the Filipino Community Center. You didn't blink your eyes. You said, yes, Eddie, I will help.
Finance Factors Foundation donates money to a lot of charitable organizations. The biggest one is the University of Hawaii. We probably donate more to the University of Hawaii because it really educated many of the original 6 founders of our company.
Danny, as your friend, I am most honored to congratulate you on being the honoree of Palolo Chinese Home's Caring for Generations Gala event.
Congratulations, Dad, on this tremendous honor. Watching you and your success in business has really inspired all of us to do the same. Thank you, Dad.
It's an honor being your friend, Danny. You're well deserving of this award, and we're supporting you, and we hope you play to your 105. So, congratulations, Danny.
Congratulations, Dad. We appreciate what you've done for us. We appreciate the education you've provided us. We appreciate all the many things that you've done. Thanks, Dad.
You're my role model. I've told you every time when I see you, I hug you and I say, Mr. Lau, you're the man I want to copy. Thank you for your support and congratulations. 多謝 and 恭喜.